I'm good. I feel anxious talking to you.
Okay. You feel excited or anxious? Same thing.
Excited, anxious. Yeah.
Yeah. You look like a little puppy ready to jump on me. I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but I'm sure it's all good. Please continue.
Very exciting journey and frustrating because of the dishonesty within and afraid to let go. But my body is getting stronger within. I feel like an oak tree. And yeah.
It's good. These things you say are very, very honest. And this honesty that you see inside is now it's present. Now you can see it more clearly. It's no longer making you feel guilty. Before you felt guilty because the character you was playing was hiding it, but now the character is just open up the prison, and now he's watching the prisoners now, no longer afraid, and now he's watching, and he's slowly getting to know them one by one. It is overwhelming, but I can see within you that you are becoming more wise. You're starting to learn that when we go inside and we start looking, it gets a bit easier every now and then. And just when we think we know it all, something new arises and makes us think, oh gosh, I don't know anything at all. Yes, and this here is teaching us humility. It's very hard to learn humility from outside. Very hard to learn compassion from outside. And then also patience, very hard to learn from outside. But as you have been going inside and just studying, observing, this self-study, it is now allowing you to taste from the cup of wisdom. Just a little sip, a little thimbleful. And with this cup, every sip you have, is where you start learning more about compassion, humility, and patience. These are things that I cannot teach you. These are things that you have been learning from within, from the guru inside. So we speak of the guru as if it's some kind of being or something. No. The guru has no body. And like I said last time, I say right now it's almost like you're sitting beside it. The picture I was painting looks very romanticized, does it not? But as you continue this study, you start to find more. Like I said last time as well, you're slowly becoming a finder rather than a seeker. So questions are now starting to be meaningless. Nothing need to search for, because everything you need to find is already inside. And this anticipation I feel from you is, I have this all the time when I meet new people. But especially when I now are sharing space with another sentient being, that is moving away from Zen mind. It's almost like we are greeting ourselves each time. And you will get more inkling of this as you continue studying. Every now and then in my journey so far, I come across another ascension being that we greet each other before we even meet each other. We see each other even before our eyes see each other. And we acknowledge each other before we have been acknowledged. And then when we do come face to face, the two avatars smile. And it's almost like we've known each other for many lives. And we do not need to speak to each other. Words are unnecessary. And then when we sit and meditate, we see all the other avatars, all the other sentient beings. And this is what they mean by the Sangha. We do not need to wave banners, Hey, look at me. So this is good. This anticipation you're feeling now, this is it's approaching like almost like love, yes? But also in time it will become where you will start anticipating the remembrance of your true nature. So this is the first time I mentioned this, is it not? Our true nature. So yes, indeed, I am the avatar known as Tao Chi Kai, Om Ni De Fu Om. And you're the avatar known as Ethan. But in time, as you continue self-study, you will discover your true nature. So these words, when I say Om Ni De Fu Om, people ask me, what does it mean? My reply is, you can never understand what it means, because it is my mantra. These sounds that I make is like I'm speaking tongue. It appeared one day on my journey. I was in meditation. I'm just like an orchid waiting for the right ray of moonlight to hit it, to arouse it. So did these sounds resonate and resounded through me. Om Ni De Fu. There's no way of anyone to understand what they mean other than I. It's very easy for us to imitate one another, is it not? Very easy. But it is just characters imitating another character. This is not the true nature. This is not the true self. We have an inkling of the true self before the character is formed. So my son, he's going to be 8 soon. The avatar that he is now, it still has a flavor of his true nature. But as each breath comes and goes, and each day, and month, and year goes by, I see his character taking hold, becoming more crystalline. But our true nature is there from before we are born. For many of us, we do not recognize or realize our true nature until maybe I don't know, maybe never at all. Eyes wide shut. Eyes wide shut. But for the one who starts to study and goes inwards, starts to peel off the layers, slowly but surely, their true nature has always been there. So now as you are continuing this self-study and you are now moving from seated to standing up, you notice more of what I describe as for yourself like the prison being open, like Pandora's box being open. You start noticing more of these prisoners trying to break out. In the beginning, they are viewed as prisoners. But as you continue self-studying, continue watching, and just allowing them just to do their thing, so to speak. Allow them just to be the way they want to be. Slowly but surely you will start noticing that they are but like ugly ducklings becoming like swans. Like bulbs waiting to uproot and blossom for heaven to see. The more you observe with the breath of life as your medium, as your mediator, the more the character starts becoming humbled. The more the character starts learning about patience. And this humility and patience, it brings forth compassion within themselves. They realize, and what was once prisoners will become like angels, or like doves, or butterflies, or snowflakes that go upwards instead of go downwards. The more you self-study, the more they will want to, in quotes, liberate. And as they liberate, their true self will be waiting. But hark this, the avatar known as Ethan. Remember what I said about the ego is very clever, very tyrannous. Remember, whenever you feel that you are doing well, watch your breath. Watch the breath. It's the breath of life. It's the breath, a constant. This anticipation is good. It's like the inkling. But our true nature is like a child with the most purest definition of child. One that is completely innocent, yet very silent and wise. And all a child does is eyes wide open, always anticipating. That is the true nature. But what I'm saying here is, can coax the ego. But at the same time, what I'm saying here is something that is possible. So just remember my words. Do not let the ego take hold. Always watch the breath. In the beginning, the breath is almost like it's a restraint, almost like some kind of tether to stop you from flying too high, to stop Icarus from having his wings burnt by the sun. But in time, as you continue watching the breath, it will be through the breath that you will be watching everything else. So this breath that we speak of in us sentient beings, in this avatar, we only witness it with our body rising and expanding, and all the alchemic processes that we can behold while this breath comes in and out. But I assure you, this breath is not just what we call breath. Some describe it as Tao Chi Kai, Om Nit Fu Om. Some describe it as God or Allah. Doesn't matter what name you give it. But the more you just observe it, this coming and going, this coming and going, the more of our true self will be more apparent. And then the ego, the character, can, like I said before, become indistinguishable. But only to itself. So hark this, we are not special, we are not any way better than any other sentient being. No. If not, the more you self-study and self-practice, this humility, this compassion, this patience, this wisdom that you will attain will, without any reasonable doubt, will confirm and affirm to you that we are all one. It is a concept that most Zen mind and even those who on the middle path, middle way, can not grasp or fathom, because we are all dualistic, we're all in duality. But there will be a time, I'm sure it happens, that during your meditation you will behold it. So I'll tell you of my experience. The first time it happened, I had been sat there. I had a peach in my hand. I was sat underneath like a shadow, like a silhouette of a tree, and just sitting. No other reason other than to sit, just holding and just observing. And I took a bite from the peach and just watched everything happen. How the two bodies combined, how it traveled down. I saw and watched every process. Time does not exist when one is meditating. And eventually everything become what I describe as 0 point, or nothing and everything at the same time. But this thing that I experienced here, it was such a brief moment. And the moment this capital I, this ego experienced it, it's tried to latch on. It was so scared. So this is what they call enlightenment, isn't it? I was only able to grasp it for not even a blink of an eye. But with yourself, if you continue, you will witness what I witness. It is inevitable. But hark this, like I say, be careful, the ego can take control. So like I said to you, I've fallen off the mountain many times. Okay, Ethan, please, would you stand up? Good. That's it. Just your own time, in your own time. And here we're just beholding stillness. But stillness is such a paradoxical term. It's just more to do with beholding. Because there is nothing in existence that can stay completely still. The only thing that can be still is the thing that is beholding. So things are forever changing. But the thing that beholds this forever changing, it can remain beholding. So in that sense, it is the only thing that is still. So when we behold like this, Ethan, if your body of flesh and blood wants to move, let it move. The constant here is the one that is beholding it. The constant is the one that is beholding it. Yes, if the being wants to move, allow it to move. Yes. Yes. That's it. So before, when one was sat down and one had all these thoughts flowing around our head, in quotes, it was because our body wanted to move. But because we was tyrannical, because we tied our horse down, these physical movements had to manifest itself somehow. So they became thoughts. That's why many people say their thoughts are noisy. The reason why is the body, all it wants to do is move. Yes? That's it, Ethan. And it's just about allowing the horse just to move. And you, as the ego, as the character, all you're doing is just watch. You're just watching this movement. So now, as you're moving around, you're still moving like a young child. Yes, like fidgety. Yes, it's fidgety. There's nothing wrong with this. This is good. There's still life in there yet. So this movement here is very, just watch it move. So you notice the last time when we stood there, I said to you, allow your limbs to seek conclusion. Just allow them to seek conclusion. And the more you do this, eventually they will seek conclusion. And what will happen is the beholder and the being will become unified. And that is when you stop becoming, embodying stillness and calmness, or what they describe as being centered, in equilibrium, or grounded. These are all embodiment things. You can think about it or imagine or pretend to be still. But this here is lies. It's almost like going against the flow of the river. Eventually you will be torn to oblivion. So many people, when they try to meditate with an image of what meditation is, they cannot do it. All it is about letting go, allowing your body just to move how it wants to move. That's it. That's it. But remember, Ethan, watch the breath. Just watch the breath. So you notice when you sat down, as you breathed in, your body, it raised up. And as you allow the breath to go, the body settles. This is no different to when you are stood up. But when we're standing now, we have the element of our roots. That's it. So we have to be careful of the ego. Sometimes it will try to make the body click, click, not good. Because I've seen people when they do these movements, it's not good for them. So as you stand here, you notice there's obviously a spine, yes? You use your middle eye. You try to find an area here. There's an area here called the lower dantian. This is the middle of the being. We have the crown, and then we have the root. The root is here, but it has roots. These lower extremities are roots. So a good way of describing the human being when it is stood up is we're like a moving tree, or almost like we are like a lily pad. You see, lily pad is on the water. So we say the water is like here. And the lower dantian is half down and half up the water. So when I breathe in, I rise out of the water. And when I exhale or let the breath leave, it sinks back into the water. And each time you allow your body to rise like this and sink, you start noticing where the center of your being is. You start noticing where the center of the being is. But with your body at the moment, what I notice, there is a lot of coil. The spine is like this, but at the moment your body is coiled like this. So let me show you what to do now. So just watch me, Ethan, okay? You will go to the ground, or the ground is better than the bed. The bed might be too soft. You go to the ground, you allow your body just to lie like this. And what you will do here is you just start moving. Your spine is from here all the way down to root. Just start moving. Like this. Just watch, Ethan. So when you watch the video back, you would just copy. But here, I'm watching my breath. I will breathe loudly now so you can hear. As I am sighing, so you can hear the breath leave. But with yourself, you just breathe in and out of your nose. Just allow the air to come and go through the nose. I will make noise now for you to hear. But this sighing is very important as well, because you will be sighing from very deep down from where it is stuck. But you would do this, and then eventually you can place your own hand on the ground and you will roll onto the hand. The other hand also can be laid underneath between you and the ground, and you will roll. Allow the head just to be loose and continue breathing, to watching the breath. Each time you breathe, each time you allow the breath to escape, be very acknowledging of just relaxing, just allowing whatever is going to take place. So as I'm turning like this, I allow gravity to take its course. I just let go and just keep on doing this. You could do it with your eyes closed so you can use your middle eye better, so you can watch inside. So with yourself, you'll put here beneath your glutes. So sitting for long amounts of time, your glutes have become tight. It has made your tail coil. Like I said before, you were sitting on your tail. You just roll like this, and then eventually you can start moving the hands upwards as well. And as you do this, this will here start freeing the thoracic area or your diaphragm. It will start freeing it. This form of meditation you must do now often as well, combined with everything. This is the missing link. And as you breathe in, eventually you will notice the breath can come in deeper. But likewise, the breath can go out deeper. Always allowing it to seek the root of least resistance. So now as you continue on doing this, eventually you will be able to place one hand above the other, directly between the ground and your spine. And as you roll like this with the breath, eventually you will start clicking or manipulating your own vertebrae. They will start clicking back into their correct position. Do this with the breath. Do not allow your ego to take hold. And the more you do this, eventually you will start noticing that your legs will start becoming more free and they can just be allowed to go whichever way they want to go, rather than being tied in a knot. So continue to not seek climaxing, okay, Ethan? It's very important. Just do this so that here, like I said before, is no longer dry, so the chi can continue flowing down towards your roots. So eventually you can do things like this. You see how slowly it started with like a little baby, just learning to use his spine again. And then eventually with the breath, you could start breathing in, and then So this here, Ethan, is the beginning of yoga, of real yoga. Okay? Eventually you will be able to torsion your whole body. So imagine here, this is almost like a baby. Yes? But when I tell you to use your hands, this is now you're using wisdom passed down from one avatar to another. Eventually you will have awareness of your spine, and then you can torsion. And then eventually you can have full torsion. You see, this is the beginning of a baby crawling, yes? And then eventually the baby will lift its body up. Always using the breath, Ethan, always. But then eventually, the baby can learn to So here, to crawl is a combination of torsion and of the snake. In the beginning, you was doing snake. But now when we have this crawling here, this is the beginning of the dragon. But then as you become more in tune with the breath, Ethan, then you can learn to stand up properly again. This is standing up properly. And this here is coming down properly. Yes, I am not just falling down. Many people, when they sit on their chair, they just whoop. Yeah, it's almost like they wish for the best and they just drop down. You notice many people, when they get older, as they sit down, they go, ah. You notice many people, ooh. But that sound they're doing is what they should have done many years ago. So if you sit down, you're breathing in, remember, and you want to settle. Yes? And then after you've done this one, then you can stand up and you can start doing. Okay? I just wanted you to do this standing up first, just so you can see the bombardment. Yes? For you to see, like I say, like the Pandora's box open. But now when you, after we finish here, you watch the video and you lie down and you do what we're doing here. This is a form of moving meditation as well. It's all meditation. After a while, there's no difference between lying on the floor to standing up. There should be no difference. Yes? Continue doing the video. Remember the video I sent you of how to sleep. You do that in order to fall asleep. And then when you wake up, you would do this lying down. The moment you wake, eyes are open, you do this one that we've been doing on the floor. Yes, and then you just slowly, just really watch the breath. After breath shows you, it shows you how to come up. It shows you how to stand up like a little child. Yes, and then after that, when you stand up like a child, then you can practice stillness. Yes. Practice stillness. Practice stillness. Practice stillness. But you see, I'm showing you the process. Yes. So today, what I showed you here on the floor, that was the missing link. This was the anticipation that you was feeling. Oh. Does it make sense? Because the practices that you was doing, it was very hard. But this thing that I showed you here, this here will make everything become a cycle. Yes. Please, Ethan, sit. Please, talk to me. Yes.
I have no words.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel my spine when you're doing it. I feel, and I've been very unkind to myself, cracking. And why can't you fix yourself? I ask. But kindness to oneself. And
And tender loving care. It's really, we need to show that to ourselves. Show TLC to yourself. When we say self, it means the body. Yes. And then before, when you said, oh, why can I not fix myself? See here, this is, keep on observing and you will see the prisoners, they say the same thing. Each prisoner derives from each time you said, oh, why can I not fix myself? Yeah, it manifested as a prisoner. But now when you observe, lying on the floor, when you do this meditation now, you will see that the prisoners will no longer become prisoners. They will come to your aid. Yes, it's almost like you will be bringing them water and bring them food that they have not had for a long time. And all you need to do is watch the breath as you do this. The more you watch the breath, the more you ride the wave. Yes, ride the wave of love. The more the heart will start pumping as well. The heart center, isn't it? That's what they describe. But the more one does this, the body starts really, it loves it. The animal loves it. And all you need to do, Ethan, is just to watch the breath. Just watch it. But when I told you to put these hands here, so this is from one avatar to another. The body doesn't really know how to do this. But right now, remember, it's been tied. Yes? But when I tell you to put your hands along your back, as you turn, you're turning on the floor, you turn. And then eventually you could do this on top of each other. Yes, but these cracks would be not of ego. It would be just yourself holding yourself, and it would turn and it would break the chains that it's in. But hark my words, do not let the ego get involved. Watch the breath constantly. The moment you try to do more, you will know. Like when you click your own body, isn't it? You hold one side and you go. It's not good. Each time when someone uses their ego to click the body, what happens here? It becomes one more step closer to having a stroke. I know this very well. But also sometimes when people work the horse too much as well, you might have someone who's very strong, but they push it so hard that likewise as well, they'll make the vertebrae click out of place. They overwork the horse. That's why we have to be very mindful. Just watch the breath. The breath, it reveals everything. All you need to do is just watch it. It's almost like you use the breath also as like some kind of glasses that you can put on, metaphorical pair of glasses made out of the breath. Because remember, we're using our middle eye to look inside. It's almost like if you watch the breath, it's almost like the middle eye opens. Because if you do not use the breath, the middle eye only sees what it wants to see. These eyes here, they are just in front of the middle eye. But now as you are self-studying, you are now looking from one step behind the dualistic eyes. These are eyes wide shut. But as you come back and start meditating, beholding, it's eye wide open. Eye wide open. I meaning capital I. The character starts seeing itself. When the I, capital I, or the character uses the eyes, it only sees what it wants to see. But the more you use the breath, the more it can start seeing. And like I said early on, eventually, by true nature will be very apparent. And these tears that you have been showing so far will mean nothing. And you will experience a laughter that you have never laughed in your life. They call it divine comedy. I'm just giving you an inkling now, you know. I don't want to coax the ego, but I'm telling you what is very possible because I have already been there. But it comes to a point when the true nature, your true nature is realized and recognized, and the character, Ethan, will laugh his head off. And the laugh that he will have would be full-bodied. You see the image of the laughing Buddha, that's where it comes from. You hear me laugh often. You know, especially when sometimes, and it sounds paradoxical, but there's times, like I say, my heart, my human heart, it has to cry. But then my beholding self starts to laugh. It laughs at my ego. Yes? Because my ego thinks, oh, poor me, I can't help everyone. Oh, poor me. There's so much people to help, but there's only one me with two hands. How can I help everyone? But then my true nature, it just beholds. And then my ego once again is reminded about how trivial my woe is. Very trivial. And I start laughing. So beautiful to be able to laugh like this. That's why after a while you cannot take yourself seriously. I cannot take myself seriously. And when I say self this time, I mean my idea of myself. Because I'm very aware I'm a figment of my imagination. And the more you practice now, Ethan, you will notice this as well. When you have conversations with people, you start becoming like Deadpool. You know Deadpool, the Marvel character. He starts breaking the wall. He's able to see that he's actually just a character in a script. And he stares right at the audience. And this staring of the audience is almost like you're looking at the beholder, saying, I know you're watching me. But this is when we have to decide whether or not we want to continue on the path. Remember what I spoke about the meadow, it presents itself in many ways. So I'll give you an example. So last time we spoke about these places where people go together, where they're trying to find themselves, but they go to a place where everyone else is trying to find themselves, but they're all spiraling out of control. These places here, someone like myself, I can become very manipulative. Yes? Whereas I'm very aware that I can manipulate people. It's very easy to coax egos. So likewise with yourself, the more you practice, you must decide whether or not you want to be. That's it. You need to decide for yourself. But just remember, you do not want to die in regret. Yes, it's very seducing, isn't it? To have many people admire and worship you. Very seductive. But when the time comes for you to go, like, which one really is going to mourn you, for you or because they wanted to eat you? Yes, I'm speaking of reference to people like Osho. They just wanted to eat him. He was like the sacrificial goat. So, yes, solemn words, isn't it? But it happens. We're lucky now in this day and age because of this internet. Yes. So after this session here, I will convert this video, and then I can upload it, and then within an hour or so you can watch it. And then after a few days, I can share it. And now, so far, the videos that we have been sharing, Ethan, they've reached well over 5,000 views. And this is all not even a month. We do not know how many views it will happen in the future. So whenever I make these videos, I'm very aware that I'm not just talking to myself, but I'm also talking to my future self. But this leads to the next thing. Why do you want to change? Yes, slowly we get into the root of all this. Why do you want to change? Why did you contact Tao Chi Kai? Why is Tao Chi Kai doing this? And the reason why is we don't want to feel alone. Yes, that's what it is. What point is it of me to liberate by myself? And why is it I have come back so many times? Which is very lonely being fine. You know, what is a sunrise if one cannot share it? Yeah, what is a sundae? Ice cream with cherry and peanuts and everything. The full works without being able to share it. Yeah. What is a kiss when one is just kissing oneself? This is why we want to change, because we don't want to be alone. We don't want to be alone. And so far in our life, I do not know why. I do not question why. But so far, the way this human world is, we are all born alone and we all go alone. Yes? That's just the way it is. I do not know why. I do not question why. But for some of us who have been here many times, we're very aware there is something else other than this, because it doesn't have to be this way. I'm very aware that the things that I say can be sounding, could unnerve some people. But I have been here many times. So Ethan, you will continue on watching the video of how to sleep. And like I said in the beginning, the second part for you was impossible, but now it will be possible. Because now I've given you the missing link. You will watch that video, and then when you wake up, the moment you realize you are awake, you will do what we just did here today. That there is the beginning of yoga, real yoga. Real yoga was conceived by watching the animals and our babies. It was not conceived by watching a a yogi. No. Yes, the yogi does that because he secretly wants you to eat him, to devour him or devour her. No. True yoga comes when one does it from within. Remember, it's always within, and it's always with the breath. Yoga literally just means breath. That's what it means, really. The more we watch the breath, the more the body starts blossoming, and you'll notice it moves and it's beautiful. It starts doing some beautiful things. Like for myself, when I was, so after I had committed suicide, when I say I, the avatar I used to be, committed suicide, when I fought for my life again to swim back to the shore after having drowned in Byron Bay in Australia, I climbed up to the side underneath like a palm tree or a bunch of palm trees, and I started to sit there and meditate, really meditate. I wasn't pretending no more. Really meditate. And then what happened is eventually I started doing yoga. I had never done any yoga classes, no need to. And it got to the point where people would take pictures and leave their email. And every now and then I might look at, get an email of, and they send me a picture of me in some beautiful postures. I don't know what to describe it, just states of meditation. You know, on my head or on one leg. But just depending on what the avatar, what the body wanted to do at the time, what the breath wanted to do. There's no fault of it. So what I'm saying to you is this is possible for yourself. Just keep on watching the breath, keep on watching it, keep on watching it. Now I am described as an urban monk. Yeah, I'm a family man now. It's not saying that I'm given up, but I have chose to become mortal. I've chosen to experience this life, to have children, to be a father, to be a husband, to be a brother, to be a grandfather, to be a grandchild. I chose this. So will you. One day we'll have to make that decision, Ethan. We can be in the middle path and no one needs to know. And then when it's time to go, we go with eye wide open. And with no regret. And then we choose where we go. With our eye wide open. We're not wishing, oh, hopefully I've been a good person. Hopefully I've been a bad person. Depending which way you want to slide. But it's good just to be always awake. Yes, that's what they mean by being awake. And when one is awake, one becomes deathless. Always just ready. See what's going to happen next. Very always excited, you know, always the child. Then there's no more fear. Walk in truth. Fear no evil. And then one becomes love. Yes. And love, as we all know it, is a verb. Yes. Like I say, I'm not your slave. I'm not your teacher. I'm not your master. And likewise, I cannot be shared. I cannot be given. I cannot be taken. And likewise with yourself, when we share this time, this space, this moment here, it's eternal. We have been sat here face to face for many lifetimes, with the sunset silhouetting us, with the thunder and the rain above us. We've been here for many lifetimes. And once again, we meet again. And this time it's my time to remind you, because last time it was you reminding me. And when we've done it so many times that now we don't know who's who. And we have come in many forms, many shapes. Yes, sometimes as a rapist, ooh, sometimes as a murderer, sometimes as a saint. Yes, sometimes an old woman, old man, sometimes a young girl, an abused girl. But we've met each other so many times. Yes. And so too it is when you continue this path, you will once again meet us. When we say us, really, it's just it's the same thing. And the reason why we're doing this, like I say, is we don't want to be alone. We keep coming back, pretending that we don't know each other. You know, one's crying and the other one's laughing. So this journey is unfolding good, Ethan, and I'm very, very grateful, you know, in many ways. And I think it's mutual. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this. Are you happy to share it? We'll have giggles. And it'd be very nice if one day we can meet face to face. Yes, we can give each other a massive hug and then share a joint on the beach. One that's going to take you at least half an hour. Yeah. Yep. It's amazing how things are working out. So Ethan, with yourself, I think now you don't need to see me once a week. Yes? Maybe once every 2 weeks now. With this movement here on the floor, I've given you this full circle. Yes? In the beginning, it was almost like you said, you was lost. And you was like, someone give me a sign. And then Tao Chi came along with a massive, you want a sign? And then I started, you know, dancing around you like, hey, look at me, look what I can do. But you can do it too. And you're like, but how do you do it? I'm like, but first you need just to have a little look at what you've done to yourself first. And then now you looked at what you've done and you're thinking, oh, whoa, ooh. And I reminded you, hey, man, no regrets, man. Was whatever you've done, I've done worse as well. So many times, man. Been here so many times. And then now I've reminded you once again how to help this body that we are possessing. Yes, we must be so grateful for these temples. People are so mistaken that they can find any relief in a building painted in gold. I find more relief sitting on the toilet. You know, some people think they have to go and burn incense in an altar, and all you need to do is, you know, have a fart and just forget. Yes, this is the temple here of flesh and blood. That's all we need, really, you know. My brother Ethan, today's a good, joyous day, and I look forward to that moment. You will know what moment I mean when it comes. When it comes, things change, you know. After a while, everything is very laughable. Everything becomes divine comedy. But Ethan, until the next time, Om Needful Om. Take care, my brother. Until next time. So this was it was joyous, but also sad because, you know, I always look forward to seeing Ethan. But now Ethan is well on his way to change. And I hope you viewers at home, I hope that you have enjoyed watching and also maybe learning something a bit about yourself. Please subscribe if you haven't. I don't think Ethan needs any more comments. He's just gonna laugh at them. But if you wish to comment and like the video, because that always helps. I'm the avatar known as Tao Chi Kai. Om Needful Om.